Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Premier. Premier, the temporary accommodation pods in the Ballina electorate and the Northern Rivers have been a godsend for extremely vulnerable people, 80% of whom are eligible for public housing and on a waiting list. However, over 200 men, women and children in the pod villages face eviction in July against the backdrop of an extreme housing crisis. Will you establish a task force to transition these vulnerable members of our community into permanent and secure long-term housing?
Call the Premier.
Can I thank the member for Ballina for her question, and with the House's indulgence, just also acknowledge that the member for Ballina has announced that she won't be recontesting the next election, and that she's been an incredibly hard-working and diligent member of this House and has represented her constituents with passion, but also a fierceness that meant that the people of Ballina didn't miss out under her tenureship, and we wish her the very best in her next role. And thank you very much for working with both myself and the Minister for Emergency Services during the terrible Alfred tropical cyclone. Was it a tropical cyclone?
Ex-tropical cyclone now, yeah.
Ex-tropical cyclone Alfred. We really actually all members during that period, but thank you very much to the member for Ballina. The member for Ballina raises a very fair point around the temporary pod villages, and I've had the opportunity to look. I didn't have automatic recall of this, but I did have an opportunity to look at the Reconstruction Authority's temporary housing support package, and it was meant to be for about 1,600 households. I'm informed that about 500 of those households have transitioned to permanent housing, and it's been a successful transition. I'm looking at the Minister for Reconstruction, the member for Lismore, who's intimately understanding of these issues as well. There are a smaller cohort of about 125 who are remaining. We've, as I understand it, entered into discussions with the Commonwealth Government about some transition arrangements, but I'm not in a position to announce that today because we haven't got an agreement as it relates to that cohort. But anyone I think the government's track record and the minister responsible who is on the ground understands that community as well as you do, member for Ballina, and that's the minister, has shown over the last 3 and a bit years a good faith effort to transition people from pods to permanent social housing wherever and whenever she can. And I know the Minister for Housing is committed to that as well. So I don't have a breakthrough announcement this morning. I understand the interest. I'm unsurprised that you've raised it given your history and passionate advocacy for this group, but we've shown, I think, an ability and a reasonableness as it relates to those pod villages, and we want to make sure that that final cohort are looked after as well.